I mean, I've had my own experiences of being around a certain type of a certain group of men who have exhibit groupthink, and that groupthink tends to lean very misogynistically. Me not wanting to be with anybody right now at this particular stage in my life because of this massive career transition and spiritual transition. I'm having what I now understand is a spiritual awakening.
When I say the podcast bars in hell, because another thing, people lie so much. They lie so much about what it is that they're making, what it is that they're made, what it is that they're being offered. That just fucks up the game. Because now, when you sit down and something is presented to you and it's a good deal, you like, nah, I don't want that because such and such just got this many millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, that person's lying to you.
What's good, Elevators? It's your boy Elevation here with another episode of the JBP Elevated, where we speak on the Joe Budden podcast and all of his co-hosts on and off the pod. All right, guys. I just came from Melyssa Ford's Hot and Bothered podcast, the interview that she just had with Charlamagne. I wanted to listen to it in its entirety before I made a post on it. I finally did that. The biased take that I was going to have prior to listening to it somewhat changed, but unfortunately a lot of it still remains. In the words of the infamous Ice, Big Freeze, finally getting a shout out. This reminds me of how he feels with Kanye West every time he comes out with something. And I know this is the first time, quote unquote, that we've seen it from Melyssa Ford. But damn, she didn't have that many points with me to begin with. But during the midst of all of this, I was starting to side with Melyssa. But hearing her on this interview, I'm right back in the middle again. I'm right back in the middle. This was a rollout, guys. Whatever, we have the manosphere and red pill. That's what they call the men and the incels and shit. What is that called for women? Because this is the lane that Melyssa's about to join. And unfortunately for Joe, she's about to be successful in this lane. She went to one of his biggest ops, who also made the transition to speaking more about mental health and that being his brand. Melyssa's been pushing this for a minute, and I've been advising her against it, but she used every tactic over the course of years from JBP that she learned and is about to start applying it on her own. She didn't really take shots at Joe. And I'll be honest, this is the main reason that I even watched it in its entirety. It's a long-ass interview. She got shots, and they're subtle, and you could tell she was shooting at Joe, but they weren't salacious shots. So let's just get that out the way. But there were some serious takes in here. Groupthink. I had to get away from the space of men that all share similar beliefs, and those beliefs are man above woman. Misogyny. The whole nine. Where was this energy at when Drake called Joe a dick sucker and called you a legend and told you should not be sitting next to this nigga? And a lot of people were saying that was when Joe made the shift on you, but it really was when you made the shift on Joe. You had drawn your line in the sand. It's up, nigga. It's up. I'm here for the check. I'm here for the exposure, because newsflash, everybody speaks on the previous podcast that Melyssa Ford was on prior to joining the JBP. But none of those were single-led podcasts except the food one. And where did that go? Why does she do anything food-related? Build up your brand. Take the audience that you got from the other company. Claim whatever you need to claim to get out of said contract and do it on your own. Melyssa has had this plan from the jump. And the reason I know this is because remember when she was moving over to New Jersey and she was having that deal with the guys that were moving her from across the country into a new place, and she was trying to pay them, saying she only had 5 boxes and shit. She acts like that everywhere. She was claiming that men literally just run the world and they have no say in anything. They being women. And she was going this route the entire time. She's never going to have to say what actually happened at the podcast as long as she continues down this route. She's never going to have to say anything. It's always going to be Joe's fault. She's always going to be seen as the victim. And then you have to call into question all the mistakes or missteps that she took on the JBP. She won't have to take any accountability for those either. When she blatantly threw Eddie Griffin under the bus, doesn't matter. It was a mistake, and she should have been treated as such. It shouldn't have been as serious as it was. And given that Mona is having all these scammer revelations come out about her and nobody speaking on it the way we would Melyssa Ford, she has a point. As mad as I wanted to get throughout this entire interview, Melyssa has had a point. And she's always going to be able to fall on that crutch anytime it ever gets brought up to her. But let's be clear. Ice is correct. This is a rollout. This was a rollout. And she was trying to tell these niggas when she was on a JVP, y'all are going to be mad as hell when y'all see the moves that I'm making outside of this. And everybody, including myself, was questioning her movements like, oh, she needs the JVP. Oh, no, she was getting everything she needed from the JVP. Because one thing that I was paying attention to in the midst of all the jokes, remember when they was clowning her for having the 32 or the 42-inch TV in her house? And, oh, Mel, you don't have money, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, in essence calling her broke. Meanwhile, Joe is paying her possibly more than he was paying anybody else on the show. And then she started speaking about investments and the brownstones, and she had been talking to people, Ish, and other people in the real estate market. That let me know, oh, she's not playing with her money. She has been investing her money. She's about to make a move. And sure enough, she felt so comfortable with the money that she received from the JBP and the traction that she made on her own that I'm going to give this nigga an ultimatum, expecting him not to accept it. She expected it. It might have taken longer than she initially anticipated. That's why the hospital pic came out when it did. Because she had let Joe know initially when she left, I'm not coming back, because she gave the ultimatum and she played the mental health card. Melyssa, you're way smarter than I gave you credit for, girl. Because I knew the whole time you didn't rock with them because they let it be known every time they would speak on you not following them on Instagram. People think this is trivial, mundane shit, but I pay attention to little shit like this. Oh. It's one thing when you don't rock with somebody to not follow them because you don't rock with them. But when you're associated with them and you speak on them and in your bio it says you're a co-host of the JBP but you don't follow the other co-hosts of the JBP, that's a big deal. She was letting these niggas and has let these niggas know from the jump, I don't rock with you niggas. And in this interview, she let it be known that I think y'all niggas all follow Joe. None of y'all niggas can stand on your own. I don't have faith in none of you niggas. Oh, man. For those who want to continue to follow Melyssa Ford, her runway is clear, guys. Joe's not going to shoot at her. The shots he's going to take are based off of things she said in the interview. The shots that he has been taking have been shots that we have known he has felt about her. She big boyed them niggas. So much so that none of them can speak on it. But I want y'all to continue to pay attention to the faces of Ice and Ish. And then pay attention to the movements of everybody else. And you'll see why Melyssa two-stepped her happy ass away from the JBP. But at the same time, once again, Ice, shout out to you. This was a rollout. Melyssa has been saving up for this entire time. And now Joe has a track record. Notice a lot of people separate and they tend to fall off. You never see them again or they have to switch career fields. Everybody that's leaving Joe has stayed in the same career path. Nobody views Joe as the mogul that Joe views himself as. They use him and view him as a stepping stone. Nobody thinks Joe should be in the position that he's currently in. And this is coming from the actions of people that have worked with him. They all feel that they can be Joe, and newsflash, y'all can be. But at the same time, this is why Joe needs to be boss first. Friendship, never when it comes to this shit. Never. Even though that's the catch-22 of podcasting. We need y'all to be friends in order for this to be an actual podcast as opposed to a show. That's why he was trying to make the separation between tonight's conversation and his podcast. They don't know each other. They get paid to work with each other. And I'll wrap it up with this because it all wraps up perfectly with this. Joe was talking about, I wonder how Trip feels now that he left. I wonder how Mel feels now that she left. Because it seems like the same situation is popping off for her. But let's not be surprised if 6-7 months down the line, we see Trip hosting his own shit, going across the country, getting paid a la tonight's conversation. Yeah, of course, one monkey don't stop no show, but the show doesn't stop the monkey either. And I apologize for calling anybody black or melanated skin a monkey. It's just a part of the analogy. But let's be clear, guys. Let's be clear. Mel didn't just leave on a whim. This has been something that's been building up this entire time. And shout out to her for finally taking the lead. Now Joe has to worry about, are other people going to continue to pay attention to Melyssa now that she's not on the show that work here? Because if they get the inclination that they can do it on their own, what happens if they all leave in a mass exodus? The main thing that they've been saying, Joe, you didn't do this on your own. We helped you attain everything that you have. What happens if we all leave at once? It'll be like a bank run. It'll be like a bank run. That's how Ponzi schemes get figured out. Joe, you have to show these niggas you ain't running no Ponzi scheme. This is the first crack, though. This is the first crack to the foundation. Are you going to patch it up? Are you going to seal it up? Or are you going to let it crumble everything you built up? But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm sorry for the longer episode today. There's just a lot that needed to be said because she got a lot off her chest, and this is the first time anybody's really spoke on it. That makes sense because Joe and them, they're going to shoot their jokes regardless. But like the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the page if you haven't. If you have, you already know how we rocking over here. You already know what it is. We're just going to keep this thing moving forward, and appreciate all the support. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.